for the day. So we're gonna understand what is a function in Python. Now this term function is very much mathematical, which is implemented in programming languages, and we'll see from the scratch what is a function, how we can use it, what are the various different inputs and outputs which can be considered when you're creating a function. So we even say this function programming or functional programming, right, by some other names. So function is one name, the other name can be method, it can even be known by the name of procedure or by the name of routine, right? So there are some various different methods or procedure or names or routines, these names given to the function itself. So the general term is function, the mathematical name is function. Let us see. So I'll come here and create one new Python file. Let us name it as session 5. So consider, so I'm just going to give these comments here first. So there is a mathematical function called f of x. Now f is the name of the function, right? And x is the input. So in our childhood days, we would have studied all these things here in the mathematical part. Now this is equal to what? This is equal to x square plus 1. Now coming here, f is name of function, x is input, and x square plus 1 is definition. So these are the three things which we need to understand when it comes to the mathematical function. What is what? Now function can even go like that. We have f of x comma y, which says x square plus y square plus 2 times x and y, right? Now this time again you got this guy f as name of the function, but if you wanna come up and change the name, you can do that. For example, it can go like fun, it can go like hello, right? Or it can even go the meaningful name, right? So let's say whole square. So this guy whole square is name of function. So what is x and y? X and y are inputs. And what is this x square plus y square plus 2 times xy? So this is known as definition. So for any function, we just simply need to understand this point here. Now let us come here in our f of x. So if I'll say f of 1, what exactly this means? This means the value of x is 1. The input is passed as 1. So this becomes 1 into 1 plus 1, and hence the output you will get it as 2. So you keep on changing the inputs and you will keep on getting some different outputs based on what is the input you have passed. So guys, is this very basic structure clear to everyone? So in our programming part, so this is all mathematical discussion, right? So this was the maths in our childhood days. Now when it comes to programming, so how we gonna deal with it? So typically we'll come up and discuss the Python programming technique itself. So for a function, you need to give a name. It will have a name. Number 2, it will have inputs, may or may not be. It depends, right? That do we need to give inputs or not? So inputs are referred to as arguments or parameters. So when it comes to a function, so the inputs which we are going to pass to this function, they are referred to as arguments or parameters, the inputs. Number 3 is definition. What function will do for us? So this definition is going to be set of some Python instructions which will be executed in a sequence. So we are going to execute this set of Python instructions in a sequence. They will not be, executed randomly. So one by one. Number 4 is acknowledgement. So what happened when the function was executed, right? Now let us say, so as a part of acknowledgement, so we are going to return back the result, right? For example, we will return back the result. Now this is how we come up and express functions in Python. Now let us try to take one example in real world and see how it will work for us to understand in a more better way. These 4 things we'll understand in a much more better way. Okay. Now the function can be named as car service. This is the name of my function. That's like car service, right? There can be one more function and it can be named as prepare tea. So why we are creating these as functions? Because they have some statements which may be used repeatedly, right? So car service means there will be some statements. Number 1, let's say open engine and oil it. Number 2 can be clean filters. Number 3 can be balance wheels. Number 4 can be check AC. Number 5 can be wash vehicle. Now these may be some steps, right? Same way we have some steps here. So number 1, take vessel. Number 2, pour water. Number 3, boil water. Number 4, add tea leaves. And number 5, put in a cup, right? So that's how you can have some steps. So these all steps here, what are they? They are a part of definition, and this is the name of the function, right? So this is the name of the function, and these are some steps. Now the steps are always in a sequence. I'm not going to put tea leaves without taking a vessel somewhere, right? Or you didn't pour the water and you are just boiling the tea leaves. This won't happen. So the things, they should come up in a sequence. We're not going to wash the vehicle and then we are going to open the engine and oil it. So that way it's gonna be more dirtier, right? So when it comes to function, there are some steps which will be executed in a sequence, just like in the chemistry labs in our childhood days. Step by step, the procedure, the step by step execution. Now there can be possible inputs. For example, when it comes to wheel balancing, right? So I can say wheel balancing, and the value can be no. So I don't want the wheel balancing to happen. So whenever wheel balancing will come into action, so we need to consider this input. Okay, so wheel balancing is not supposed to be done. So prepare tea, we can put some more inputs, right? For example, we can take milk. So we can say milk's gonna be, let's say, 1 cup. Then if there is sugar, you can say, okay, sugar is going to be 1 tablespoon. So these are some certain more inputs. So guys, I hope these 3 things are clear to everyone. So what is the name, what are the inputs, what is the definition? 3 things to everyone. Acknowledgement, read it as a smiley from all of you.
Just one question.
Yes, please.
It's depend on us when as a user defined function is we are creating that how many arguments we are passing
Exactly.
and how many we are asking during its execution, right?
Correct. Purely requirement based, right? So you have a requirement, so that's how you are designing a function.
Yep. Just for taking a first example, second example for t, we can ask when we calling this function, and we can pass how many people we are going to make t. Like suppose we pass
Correct,
four, then we
correct,
can
correct, correct. I can say number of
ask.
cups, right? So it can be five. So
Yeah, exactly.
as per the number of cups, so we need to work on the definition.
And
That's
later,
exactly true.
for other choices, it can ask later, like if you want milk in it, or the sugar, how much sugar you want, or
So totally.
that we can ask later, right?
Exactly. So when I'm creating a function, what does it means? I am doing customization. I'm doing it as per my need and my requirements, right? So the built-ins were what? Built-in functions were the way they are, we have to use them. What are these functions? So these are the ways by which you can write your logic comfortably the way you want to solve the problem. So good to go, right? Okay, so now what can be this acknowledgement? When I'm preparing tea, the acknowledgement, or let's say I'm washing this vehicle, so acknowledgement comes in the end, and this acknowledgement can be call me on my phone. So this is the acknowledgement, right? So you need to come up and understand the acknowledgement. So we specify the acknowledgements with something known as return statement. We use this proper keyword called return. So when this is done, so you return back. So you call me on my phone so that I can come to you and I can pick my vehicle. All right. So prepare T, there can be an acknowledgement. So what can be that acknowledgement, right? So serve when done. So we can tell the person who is preparing the tea to serve us when the tea is done. So these can be the statements by which we are trying to take an acknowledgement. Now same way, when I'm doing this training program, so many times I'll ask you guys in between, are you clear? So please acknowledge me with a smiley. So you are returning me the smiley, and based on your smileys I am trying to come up and see how many of you are good to go and will proceed with the next step. So acknowledgements or the returns, they should be the last statements. So anyone with query here, guys? So let us now come here and see how we can write a function in Python.
Shan,
Okay.
just one question. Is it a return cannot be an empty statement, like just return keyword is there and then blank?
we
If I'm not
can
returning
we
anything,
can have it, but that is of no usage. So that's like you said return, but what you want to return, you have nothing to return. So that way
no,
you don't put it even.
if everything which is a function is required, I have done it within the body. Like print statement is already there,
Yes,
or the value it's returning, it's
I got
already
your point now.
stored in a particular
Correct.
variable.
So let's say you want to return from in between. Let's say
Yeah.
there is some task which is being done, right? So I said that don't go for the wheel balancing, don't go for the AC, and don't go for the wash of vehicle. So you can return in between as well. So you can even say an in between return based on some conditions. You can do a return. So that way, what does it mean? It means the moment you said return, the below statements, instructions, they are not supposed to be executed. So I think Vinay, that is the query, and I think it is resolved now. Or if you have any other context, all right. So let us now come here and try to see why we need function first of all. Okay. Yes. Anyone with query here? All right. The first thing is where we'll understand why functions are needed. So let's say there is a number 1 which is the value 10 and number 2 which is the value 20. So there is a sum which is number 1 plus number 2, and then I'll say print sum of and this is this. So I'll say a dot format number 1 comma number 2 comma sum, right? So this is what I want to print. So when I run the code, so it says sum of 10 and 20 is 30, which works perfectly for me. Now there is a requirement that I just need not to do only summation for two numbers. There are some more numbers to which I wanna do summation on. So I'll again go and I'll say sum is number 1 plus number 2, but I need to change the values. So I'll say number 1 is now 11 and number 2 is now, let's say, 65. Then I will say sum is again number 1 plus number 2, and what I'll do is I'll repeatedly write the similar instructions. So next time it says sum of 11 and 65 is 76. Now there may be a requirement that I have to do summation for two numbers again and again, right? So you need to understand. So we may need to add two numbers several times. So this can be one of the challenges. Or let us say the other part, you have an amount which is this value called let's say 500, and there are some taxes which you want to calculate on amount. So these taxes are 0. Let's say 18, and you want to calculate the taxes. So I'll say taxes on amount is your amount multiplied by taxes, and then you say print me taxes on amount comma taxes on amount. So you run the code. So okay, something went here and there, or like what we did. Okay, so my bad. Let's just come here. Did I do something wrong? So I think I was doing correct. All right, so yes. So moving ahead now, there may be some another amount for which also we need to find the computation. So the amount is now 750. So you need to find one more, you see, the taxation part. So you have to do the same thing again. So I have to do the same thing again. Now once again we are into a situation so where we may need to find taxes on several amounts again and again. So guys, I hope you understood what is the challenge. So why we need functions, we need to understand, before we understand that point here, that why we need functions is that if you are doing some computation, we are doing some computation, and this computation may be needed several times, right? Same way you are doing computation here, so this may be needed several times. So as a part of conclusion, certain statements are supposed to be executed several times, and we cannot decide them by loops. So you cannot come up and decide them by loops. I mean to say, you cannot put a fixed point here that okay, these instructions, they are supposed to be executed 3 times or 7 times. Now it depends, right? It depends. If I am calculating the taxes on some amount, if there are n number of products which I don't know, so I'm getting those products dynamically. So there we get the problem because we don't have a specific number how many times this computation has to occur. So what I can do, so as the solution, we need functions in which we will write these instructions and will execute the function whenever needed. So let us see how. I will write this def keyword. Def keyword means define. Define. So you write the function with the keyword called def. Now give a name. So I'll say add numbers. So how many numbers you want to add? You give the input number 1 comma number 2. Then you put a colon here. So the moment I'll put a colon here, so I'll now start writing the code with tab, 4 spaces. Now this is known as the body or definition of the function. So this is the name, add numbers, this is the input list, and here I will say sum is number 1 plus number 2, and then I'm going to write this instruction that the sum of so and so is so. Same way I will say define, calculate taxes. So what taxes you want to calculate? You take that amount as input, and you can come here and say that the taxes is a flat 0.18, and there will be taxes on amount, which is amount multiplied by taxes, and finally you give a print statement here in the end. Now we need not to write these several statements again and again. Okay, so what we can do, we can write those statements only once by creating a function like this, and now we'll simply execute the functions. So we'll say execute functions. So how you will do it? Write down the name, add numbers, and pass the input. So let's say 10 comma 20. Write down the name, pass the inputs 11 comma 75. Calculate taxes, pass the amount. Let's say you passed the amount value to be 500. Then you passed the same amount value to be 750. You can pass the amount value to be 1250. So what we see is the same statements, they will be executed for us. They will yield different results, different output based on our different inputs. So now when you run this code, so what you see is sum of 10 and 20, 30, 1175, sum 86, 90, 135 and 225 as taxes. So guys, can I get a smiley how you create a function and how you use it? So creating a function, define keyword, name, any name, numbers as per your requirement, then what function should do, write in the block, and when you come out of it, so it means function is over. Yes, Lalit. So we'll see all those permutations and combinations very soon. And Vinay, yes, no
Ishan,
return, no
actually,
return
earlier
keyword as of now.
we studied that we are asking user to give the input. So the same way we are just hard coding the input here on ourselves. So if there is something as a function or something we have already defined into the code that the user input is required, and then in the print statement formula is already placed, then it will do the same thing. I'm just trying to understand how it is different from that user input and doing this way.
Yeah, we'll do it with the user input. So as of now, it's just what is the function, how you create it. So having said that, we'll bring in the user input. Yes, this is the next step. So I'm just going to introduce it soon, right? We'll see the next part. So till here, how we create a function and how we execute it. Two things. If that is clear to everyone,
Ishan,
Yep.
yes, Asim, go ahead.
yeah, Ishan, if it is possible to have multiple inputs in the define function itself, and using 2 out of 5 inputs rather than you, I mean,
Yes,
defining
it
to.
depends upon you exactly. It depends upon you. So, for an instance, you don't want to use this number 2, you can simply say number 1 plus 100. So, number 2 is not in use now, right?
Okay. And is it possible to import these functions into the program itself?
So, what exactly will this mean now?
Like to use these functions or modules into another program, and we just import
Yes,
the
exactly, it is
functions.
possible. So, that we'll see in the upcoming sessions, that how you can import one Python module in the other module, what are packages, how you can do the import statements. Yes, it is possible, of course, right? And but we'll see in future part.
Thank you.
Okay, so Vinay, for your query, we are not using return statements as of now. Okay, so we just create the function. So this acknowledgement here, guys, the first statement, right, is optional. May or may not. Same way, I can write a function, say hello, which simply says print, or why say hello? I'll say print app name. So I'll just say WhatsApp, right? So when I'll execute this guy called print app name, it takes no input. At the same time, this guy has only one task to print this app name, right? Or other than that, we can have some certain more instruction. Let's say stay connected. So this is how print app name will work. So if you want to write more instructions, so this is how it will work for us. Right? So there can be certain functions which may not take any input and they can do the job for you. For example, this printing of some statements in a well-aligned manner. This can be one more of the functions. So now let us try to discuss functions more aggressively. So it was very quick introduction. How to create a function, what is a function, why we need function, right? So major discussion was why functions are needed, because some statements, they are being repeatedly used. So you put those statements in a function and you execute the function again and again by the name itself. So coming here now, let us write this new Python file, session 5a. Now we will try to come up and take some real use case from Zomato or Swiggy or Uber, Ola. So we have promo codes which can be applied, right? So I'll define a function called apply promo code. So there is a promotional code which can be applied, right? So I'll take two inputs. What is the promo code which user wants to apply, and what is the amount on his cart, right? So these are the two inputs which I want to take. Now in case user's promo code is equal to flat 50, right? So the promo code is flat 50. I'm going to come up and return, I'll say return the amount multiplied by 50 divided by 100, right? So we'll just return back something, right? So this is the kind of discount which we are going to give to the user. Now there can be a case of elif. Maybe promo code is not the flat 51, so the promo code may be a flat 30. So here I'll return back 30 divided by 100. And there can be an else case for anyone with the else case. So we are just going to offer a flat 10% of discount, right? So this is a function where I'm just saying to return something. I'm taking an input, I'm checking that input, I'm using another input to return back some, a discount. Now there is an amount, or let's say a total, which is supposed to be entered by the user. I'll say int input enter your total amount. So the user is going to enter total amount now. Okay, so I'll ask it from the user. So moving ahead now, we'll even ask for the promo code. So this is going to be a string input. So enter promo code to apply. So this is also one of the inputs. Now what I will do, I will calculate the discounts, right? So I want to calculate the discount. So what will be the discount which will be offered to me? discount which will be offered to me will be execution of the apply promo code method. So first of all, let us ask the promo code and then the amount. We'll go in a sequence. We'll pass promo code and then we'll pass the total. Now let's see what has happened here. When you say apply promo code, you pass the promo code which you took as an input from the user, and thereafter what we are doing, we are taking total from the user and we are passing it into this function called apply promo code. Now let us say user passed flat 50 and the amount is assuming 1000, right? So we are returning amount multiplied by 50 divided by 100, and this returned value will be returned and substituted here in the discount. So if I'll just come up and say print me discount for on is dot format, so I'll just pass promo code comma total comma discount, right? So this is what I'm doing now. So let us run the code and see how it's gonna work for us. So I'll say give me a flat 50 as a promo code. My amount is 1200. So this guy says discount for flat 50 on 1200 is 600. So what did you see? This statement was executed and it returned back an amount value. Let us try executing another promo code and see what will happen now. So I'll say flat 30. The amount is 900. So it says discount for flat 30 on 900 is 270. So guys, can I get a smiley as an acknowledgement? Are we clear here?
So, Ishan, can we use two different input values into the same function? I mean, in the above, when you were defining the function, you use promo code and amount as the inputs, but during the calculation of the discount, you use promo code and total. So,
No, this can be any name. This is just a variable in which I'm going to take the value from the user.
okay,
So this promo code and amount belongs to this function apply promo code. You need to understand, okay? So these two are the inputs and they are the property of this function. But this promo code and this total, this is the program's variable. The way we studied it earlier in our days, right? So the storage containers. So these two storage containers dedicated to this function and these two storage containers for our program itself. So if you're getting confused, you can just say it as P code. Okay, so this way the things goes like this. So it can be any name of your choice. So good to go, Asim.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ishan.
So if I pass promo code anything and if I have a amount value of 1000, so even though I'll get a discount of rupees 100, right? So 10% discount will work for us. So I think return statements are also clear now. So what is meant by return, right? So return means you are going to send back some data where the function was executed and you put it into this storage container called discount.
So Ishan, this in the discount statement, this apply promo code, this P code is actually referring to promo code and total is actually referred to amount.
Yes, yes, yes. So P code goes into promo code and total gets copied into the amount. That is exactly true, Lalit, right? So if you just pass it in a hard coded way, right? So let's say I'm not gonna take these inputs. So let's do the hard coded way. So I can say discount is, so promo code is flat 50 and the total is 500, right? So here this is one more way of how you can use the part, right? So this is hard coded. The above one was user defined. This is hard coded, whereas this one was dynamic. That is user input. So we can use these things the way we want, right? So this is exactly in our hand. And okay, so till here, guys, anyone with any further query? I want all of you to understand this functions in a very great manner. So if you find any challenge here and there, guys, please feel free to ask. So this will be important for your further programming part. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll come here and I'll say print me discounts, comma, apply the promo code. So in the print statement itself, I'm going to mention this apply promo code, if you see, guys. Now what will happen? The moment apply promo code will be executed, flat 50 will be passed into promo code and 500 will be passed into the amount. So the returned value will come here and it will be directly printed. So this is one more way how you can use the functions which will return back something for us, right? So this is one more way of dealing with it. Now I'm going to do a print statement and I'll say function apply promo code is comma apply promo code. So I'm printing the function name. So print the name of function. So we're just printing the name of function and we'll see what we'll get. Let's run the code. It says function is function apply promo code is a function, add some hash code, right? So there is some hash code which you can see for the function. So the location on which function gets created for us, right? So you need to understand functions are created in memory and they have hash codes the way storage containers have.
Ishan, why there is no need to apply ID or hex in front of the function code?
Sorry?
Why there is no need to apply ID or hex type in front of this function name?
You can even do that. You can even do that. So you can even say ID of this, right? So that way it's gonna work. So here what happens when you print the function name, it will automatically give you this entire a type. So the type is function, name is promo code, and it gives you the hash code, right? So this is automatically. So if you come here and say your hex of ID of promo code, hex ID of function apply promo code is, right? So this way it's gonna give you the same number, right? So it means functions, they get created in the memory and they do have their own hash codes. Now what I'm going to do next is I'll say fun assign apply promo code. So what is this? This is known as reference copy. So what exactly this means? This means hash code in apply promo code is copied into fun, this guy here. So let us try to print fun and print the hex ID of fun as well. So now I'll say fun and hex ID of fun. So here we'll just print out this guy fun and fun here. So run this program. So what we see is the fun is also apply promo code at this hash code, and the hex ID of fun apply promo code is exactly the same. So guys, can I get a smiley here? Are these statements clear to everyone? What is reference copy? Now when we are doing reference copy, So there is an added advantage now, right? So I can calculate the discounts. Coming here, I can calculate the discounts by using apply promo code or by using this guy called fun, right? So now we have two different names or references pointing to the same function. So let us run this code here, and what you see is discounts 250 in both the ways. Either you use fun or you use apply promo code. So guys, can I get a smiley from all of you? Is this part clear? Wonderful. So what you need to do is you need to do one small assignment here in this part. So let me write down the assignment. Number one, so flat 50 gives 50% off for amount greater than 2000. So number two, your flat 30 gives 30% off on amount greater than 500 and less than 2000, right? So this is greater than and equal to, let's say this is also greater than and equal to. Number three, flat 10 gives 10% off on an amount value greater than or equal to 200 and less than 500. Then moving ahead, number four, no discounts on price or on amount less than 200. So what we need to do is we need to come up and use the same function. You can use the same function and you can apply these conditions, right? But if user has applied a wrong promo code on some amount, suggest him correct promo code. So what I'm trying to say, let's take an example. The example goes like this. So amount was 1000, amount value was 1000, and I applied flat 50. So here you need to give a suggestion. So your suggestion should come up like use flat 30. Or if the user is using flat 30 in the flat 50 range, so you should tell the user that you are in a loss. Alright, so you should use flat 50. So suggest him the appropriate promo code in case user is going to fill in the wrong promo code. So guys, is this clear to everyone? The problem statement? Wonderful. All right. So let's have a small break now, and after the break, we shall see functions in more detail, right? So I'm just going to have a small break here.